Welcome to Fancounters. My name is Nick.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And Elizabeth, we had a discussion when you walked in my door this morning about costs and expenses.
Yes.
And it's actually really shocking to me. We've got hit in the face this week with two big expenses. I know it's first world problems, but our hot tub stopped working. It kept tripping my breaker.
Oh.
Yeah.
We had that problem. We had to have a whole new breaker put in for just the hot tub.
Well, we have that, but what happened was apparently somebody who's in charge of the chemicals.
Isn't that you?
We're not going to name any names.
Okay, then.
Didn't keep up with it very well, and I needed a new heater, but this was discovered after we replaced a pump. So $1,000 later, we've got that going on. And then car issues. We had a $1,200 brake job, and then our headlights wouldn't work. Actually, at my birthday party, the headlights kept blinking, and they wouldn't stay on, and it was really intermittent. We had to drive with our fog lights on to get home, and that was a $1,200 fuse box replacement. So we've been drowning in bills lately.
Oh my goodness!
So
gracious.
I don't have the you don't have that going on, but you've got childhood activity expenses, because if you remember, Elizabeth's daughter dances Irish dance.
We do, and we are still, even though we're a good whole month or so into school, or 2 months into school, we keep being nickeled and dimed at school. So I need $20 for these field trips. I need $17 for this. Lily came home the other day with a little tiny brown envelope that said, please put $5 in for the class, like parties and things like that. And Mark got so mad that he put it in corners. And so I looked at Lily as I handed her this huge packet of change and went, I'm so sorry, honey. Daddy is done paying fees this year. And then I turn around and, Irish dancing is an incredibly expensive sport. And now as she gets older and progresses, we need a new, very expensive dress. We need a new, very expensive wig, because the wig we've had for only 6 or 8 months is apparently not the right wig.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
And, we just bought hard shoes, and on sale and used, they were $75. And she announced to me the other day that we're going to need at least 3 or 4 more pairs of socks, which is true. But the socks are like $13 or $15 a pair. And so, she's dancing 3 nights a week. And right now I'm a horrible mother. And I'm letting her wear the same socks all week long. And then I take them away on Friday night and wash them and then put them back in her bag on Monday, because I don't have 4 pairs of socks for her to rotate through for the week. So next week when the shoe people come, I'll be buying more socks.
And a wig and a dress.
And a wig and a dress. And every time she dances, it costs us money. And every time she wants to do any kind of activity with the dancing, it costs me money. And, if she wasn't just so gosh darn happy with it, I'd walk away. But every time I say to her, are you still having fun? Yes. Do you want to keep doing this? Yes. So I will find a way to pay.
That's nice. Life is expensive. It's the most expensive thing I've ever done.
It is.
It's crazy.
Uh-huh.
All right, on the show today, we've got Drei Ros. He's a Romanian-born music artist. He just dropped a couple of singles, Lit, and now his latest, On My Own. It features BrownBoi Maj. The Latin trap track is infused with a Romanian twist and English chorus. On My Own comments on Drei's self-made music career, from his Romanian roots to spicing up tracks for headlining names in the United States like Pusha T, Gucci Mane, and Cap G.
This new music comes in anticipation of Drei's forthcoming debut album of original tracks entitled Excuse My Accent. The album comes out this month and was produced by 808 Mafia, who also produced tracks for Future, Drake, and DJ Khaled. This album mixes English and Spanish languages, giving it an international appeal.
Today, you're going to get to know Drei on a personal level and find out why this extraordinary story makes for some inspirational music. Elizabeth, did you know he's got over 15 million views on YouTube?
That's amazing.
While he might be a stranger to you now, in the next hour, he's going to be your friend.
Cool.
Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is Fancounters with Nick and Elizabeth on the PodFix network.
There was this mob of people, and they're screaming my name.
Crazy fans.
Stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours.
If I'm having dinner with my wife
Don't sit down at my table. Don't follow me into the bathroom. Can I take a picture? We're gonna. Oh my God!
I think this guy wants to fight me. Ended up being a fan.
I'm the only one that's ever been on Sam Jackson and lived to tell about it.
Well, guess what? I have a big surprise for you.
That's why we call it Fancounters.
I don't think you're going to last on the air very long.
All right, Dre, welcome to Fancounters. We're really happy that you're here.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You bet. Now, this has got to be an exciting month for you. You've released a couple of singles, and now we get to hear your entire album this month. So we're going to get to your music and talk about that album in a little bit. But first, we always kind of like to start at the beginning. So being born in Romania and living your first 15 years there, what was your childhood like? And was music always important to you growing up?
Music was always part of like my family and stuff. And growing up in Europe, it was such a different experience than what I went through when I moved here. So it's such a different lifestyle and way of living. It's a great combination, you know. And I've been able to live in both places and experience both things, and you can hear that in my music.
So when you were 16, you had the opportunity to play collegiate basketball in Seattle. How did that come about?
Yes.
And did you just move, or did your entire family come with you?
I moved with my whole family. We moved in 2000. I was in starting my 10th grade, and then we moved to Seattle because my mom, she had a friend from university that lived there. So we went there because we needed to know somebody, you know.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great experience because I was already in love with basketball from Europe. I was watching NBA games at 3 a.m, recording them on VHS tapes. So I was very passionate. So having the opportunity to come to United States and play basketball and learn more about the game was amazing for me growing up. And after playing in high school, I had the opportunity to play college and then semi-pro and then play professionally in Europe. So it was a great ride.
How did it come about, though, that you had this opportunity in Seattle? Did you seek it out, or did it find you?
I tried out for the team. I tried out for the team, and I was the only 10th grader that could dunk in the whole school, and that kind of helped.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, they liked my athleticism. I didn't speak much English. They called me the Croatian sensation, but I was from Romania, but I didn't mind it, you know.
That's funny. Well, in Milwaukee, we tape our show in Milwaukee, and we've got the Greek Freak, Giannis.
The Greek Freak,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that guy is amazing. He's such a physical phenomenon.
We are lucky to have him. Okay, so Dre, it's 2004, and you learned that your dad's suffering from the last stage of liver cancer.
I learned in 2002. I was actually on vacation back in Romania, and my mom called me. She was like, "Hey, your dad went to the doctor, and he did some like a physical exam, and they discovered some issues with his liver. And then he told me, we'll tell you more when you come back home." So when I got back, I found out that my dad has to have a surgery to try to remove the tumors. But he was so advanced, cancer was so advanced, and he had cirrhosis and hepatitis, and there was not much they could do. So I kind of knew for 2 years. My dad passed away in 2004, but I kind of knew 2 years ahead of that, you know, he had a terminal liver cancer, you know.
Tell us about how big of an influence your father had been in your life.
Well, it's a very emotional subject for me.
Definitely.
It was great. I mean, he was my best friend, so.
That's good. Those emotions play through in music, and I think that's a pretty powerful outlet.
So it was during
it was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, never mind. It's such a hard subject for me that it's hard for me to open up. But I try my best. You know, he was a very important person in my life. He was there for me all the time, and then it was very emotional because he passed away on my 20th birthday. So it's kind of like every time I have my birthday, I remember, you know, my father. So
wow,
it was very, very, very emotional. So yeah. When I was in Europe with my dad that summer, I went into the studio and recorded my first album, Between Life and Death, which was dedicated to him. And that was kind of like my introduction to recording and riding and stuff like that. So while I was still playing basketball.
So now you're back in Romania. Talk to us about the decision to pursue professional basketball over music, or were you planning to do both?
I was basically, basketball was always connected to like hip hop and music. So growing up, I was always connected to both. But at that moment in 2004, my priority was basketball because I already played and I was about to start playing college, and that was my priority. So music was just a hobby.
Okay.
And the moment I stopped playing basketball in 2008, that's when because basketball is so competitive, so I needed something to keep me going, to keep my vision and my dream going. So I took all that energy from basketball and start putting it all into music.
Was it at that point that you decided to take a chance and go to Los Angeles to pursue music?
I was actually, first I lived in Seattle, and I created a group there, me and another two guys. We were called Boss, Building Our Success Story, and we recorded an album together, and we toured all over the Northwest. And then after that, I moved to Los Angeles by myself and really took my music serious.
Were there any lessons that you learned while you were on that first West Coast tour?
Yes, I learned that it's a very difficult business. And you need a lot of and you need a lot of money and a lot of resources and a lot of connections to be able to really put your music out there and be successful. That's what I learned. So that's when I started building my team and really focusing on the big picture over long term, because I knew it's very hard to make it big overnight, only if you have lots of resources and lots of money,
Yeah, and even when you have that, it's not
guaranteed.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. It can still be difficult when you have a lot of money because everybody's going to know that you have a lot of money, so they're going to try to take your money.
Right.
Right. But so either way is difficult, but it's always good when you have a good foundation and a good team and you're able to deliver quality music over a long period of time. That's when you really build a strong fan base.
So we're called Fancounters, and so we kind of want to know if you've had any fan counters on that first tour that comes to your mind that stick out.
I mean, I had a couple of shows I never got paid. Then I had a couple of shows nobody showed up
Oh, no.
to the concert. It was just a learning experience. I kind of had the initiative and put the tour together by myself with the help of a couple of people. So we were just trying to put our music out there and really build a name for ourselves. So it was more like a grind type of tour,
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a good experience. We gained a lot of fans and momentum, and there were not many people in the Northwest going as hard as we were at that time. So it was a great experience.
Now, when you broke away from the group, kind of went back to doing solo things, were you still trying to figure out your musical style at that point?
Yes, because the thing is, me being from Europe and Romania, for example, is known for a lot of pop commercial music, and I had a lot of pop commercial producers, but my background was hip-hop, like real hip-hop, so I kind of wanted to implement the European sound with the American hip-hop and come up with my own sound, but every time you try to do something new and different, sometimes it's not accepted or it doesn't fit in with what's going on at the moment, so it was a journey to discover my sound and my direction. So it was a great journey. Everybody liked the music, but it was so different and so like it wasn't European 100%, it wasn't American 100%. It was just a fusion of sounds.
Yeah.
Like I would have 808 drums mixed with like saxophone riffs. Like the songs, I had the guy from that played the saxophone riff on Saxo Beat from Alexandra Stan do it for me. So it was a combination of sounds. I was trying to do something bigger than myself, at that time. So it was an interesting journey.
Did you find it pretty easy to locate people with the same dreams and passion for yourself to kind of invest their time in you?
Yes, you do, because once you have the vision and you you put all that energy into that, you start attracting people that are on the same journey or they have similar interests like you. So it was pretty easy. Even if I didn't want to, I would meet talented people that later on become part of my team. So it was great.
So in 2016, you did have a hit on your hands when your music video for Shake That Monkey went viral,
Yes.
garnering over
Yes, yes.
3.3 million YouTube views.
That was probably my biggest record at the time, and it's funny because I'm gonna tell you the story. I was actually in the car with a little kid. He was 6 years old, a son of a family friend, and I kept going through my songs, and then I played this song, "Shake That Monkey," was not released, and he kept asking me, "Play the monkey song, play the monkey song," and of course he didn't really know what the song was about, but and I was like, this is a sign. If kids like the music, that means it has the potential to be big. And then I took the idea from the Jumanji movie and had a house full of monkeys. So we shot the video and it did really well. I think that was probably my biggest record at that time. And then I did a Latin remix with a big rapper from the Latin world. And it was great. It was a great I created a lot of relationships and opportunities off that song.
Well, and you were able to collaborate with a lot of well-known artists for songs like Loco and Bombero. Was it hard to find more famous or well-established artists to make music with?
At the end of the day, when I approach these artists or I meet them at different parties or different studios, it's all about the music. If the song is nice and they like it and they think it has potential, they're gonna do it because my numbers are good on Spotify, YouTube, and I get a lot of traction. So they know that the music is gonna be pushed. So it's been pretty easy to find the collaborations, and I really like collaborating with different artists because it's all about the energy in the studio and always coming up with something new and different.
So one of the already released songs off your upcoming album, Excuse My Accent, is Lit. What was the inspiration behind that song?
That song is produced by 808 Mafia. It's one of very known producers in the trap hip hop world, and it was just a collaboration that happened in the moment. I created the instrumental, the beat with the producer, and then I sent it to Rio, the guy that's singing on the chorus. He recorded the chorus, and then I recruited the other two artists, and that's how we created the song. It was mostly done over the internet, did that one.
That's
just
amazing.
Going back and forth between all of us, and then we just shot when everybody was in LA, we just shot the video.
That's amazing that they recorded.
Happened.
That is fascinating that you're putting together these songs that are
Yeah.
artists that are thousands of miles away.
Yes, one of them is in Atlanta, one of them was in Portland, and one of them was in Texas. So it was just it's amazing what technology can help you do, and going back and forth, we were able to make the record. And then when everybody was in town, we just shot the scenes with that specific artist, and then put it all together. So it was amazing, and the song is doing really well. Like it has like 3 million views, and it started picking up on Spotify, and it played all over the clubs in Los Angeles. So it's doing really good, that record.
Now, let's talk about that video real quick that you're mentioning. The Lit video is really colorful and really fun. How involved are you on the concept of the video, making sure that it really does represent your song?
Well, I try to experiment all the time with the videos, and I have a very talented video guy on my team. His name is Matty J, and I told him that I want this video to be really in tune with what the music and the youth are listening and watching these days. So he made it really trippy and abstract, with the effects and stuff. And I enjoyed it because I haven't done anything like that before, and the response was great.
So your Excuse My Accent album has 10 tracks on it. Talk to us a little bit about what else we can expect on this album that's coming out.
I have a song called Excuse My Accent. The album is self-titled, and it's a very social, political song. I'm talking about. It's mostly about the immigrants and minorities, and it talks about how people come to the United States and they want to live their dream, and then sometimes they run into obstacles along the way by not being accepted from where they're from or their culture and stuff like that. So that's gonna be a very big record for me. I believe it's like a stadium hip hop record with a big chorus, and we're gonna do a documentary that comes out at the same time with the song, in which I'm gonna have 3-4 case studies of minorities and immigrants coming to the United States. Some of them are success stories, and a couple are more like difficult, uh, like scenarios where they had to go through a lot
Mm-hmm.
to really establish themselves and try to live their dream here in the United States. So that's kind of like the defining song for the album, which is deep, very deep record and very meaningful. And then I have a bunch of fun records on the album also. I have a party record. I have a couple of motivational records. I have a song called Overnight, which is produced also by 808 Mafia, the same people that produced Lit. I'm actually in Vegas right now, getting ready to shoot a video this weekend. And this song Overnight, it's about, nothing happens overnight. You have
Right.
to really put in the time and the passion and to be able to succeed in whatever you do. So that kind of explains my journey a little more and everything I had to go through to be successful. Nothing happens overnight, basically.
So, talking about, excuse my accent, tell us a little bit about your experience immigrating to the United States.
My experience has been great. I was able to come here, and my parents, they won the visa lottery in the 90s. So when I came here, I came in as a resident right away, and I had all the benefits of this amazing country. I was able to go to the best school. I was able to get the best education and the best opportunity. So mine is a success story. But there's a lot of other people that don't have it as easy.
So, do you now have dual citizenship?
Yes, I have. I've been having dual citizenship since 2005.
Okay.
I was blessed to have this opportunity to get it at an early age.
And are your parents still, or your mother still in America?
Yes, my mother, she still lives here. She lives actually in the northern side of Washington State, in Bellingham, by the border with Canada. That's where
Okay.
she lives.
Now, you've mentioned 808 Mafia a few times, creating some tracks for this album. They're pretty well known for working with Future and Drake and DJ Khaled. What was
Yes.
it like did you feel like you kind of had made it when they took it on to create some songs with you?
I felt like that, and I feel like it's a great opportunity for me because I wanted to really have, for this project, I wanted to really have an American urban sound that can be mainstream here in the United States. And working with them, I knew for sure that I have the right sound, and I don't have to second guess the direction of my project. So it was a great opportunity. Those guys are amazing. Like, I was in the studio with them, and they're able to create 5 to 10 beats in a few hours. It's amazing how fast they
Wow.
work and how fast they're able to put those songs together. So it was such an amazing opportunity to work with them, and I'm gonna work with them probably on all my projects in the future. Because they're giving me the right sound and the right direction musically for what I want to do at the moment.
You mentioned you're shooting a music video this week. I
Yeah.
just wonder, is that the same team, or part of the same team that built the song working on the video as well?
Yes. I try to stay loyal to my team, to my producers, to my sound engineer, to my video team. So I just keep working with them. Like, the same guy that shot Late also shot my new song on my own, and he's gonna shoot probably the majority of the songs on the album. His name is Matty J.
When you first thought of sharing your music with the world, what were you hoping people might take away after hearing your songs?
The thing is, when you never have your music put out, you always have high expectations. You expect people to be like, wow, because it's very hard to evaluate yourself. So when I first started putting my music out, I was kind of like looking down like on myself. I was like, man, I'm not getting millions of views yet,
Right.
because people didn't know who I was, and my music was not that good at first, because it's a process to be able to deliver quality music. And I always had a strong accent, and me rapping in English was such a new thing for me. So my pronunciation and my flow was not that great at first, but I kept working on it, and now I'm very happy with the results.
Well, your English is quite remarkable. I mean, you
Thanks,
can't tell
thanks.
that you didn't grow up knowing both.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm learning Spanish too, so
Oh, goodness
I'm working on my
gracious.
third language.
wow. Now, you spent some time in Romania as a kid, and I'm kind of curious. You probably heard about how Americans live and kind of what we're like over here. How much of that did you find to be true or untrue?
Yeah, my expectations of before I moved here, I expected, because I was looking at movies with New York, LA,
Right.
big cities. I was expecting a bunch of high tower buildings everywhere, and like when I came here and I saw that most of it is houses and nobody's walking down the street. It was such a cultural shock at first, especially for my parents. They're like, "Where's the people? Nobody's on the streets. The streets are empty," because we're used to Europe where people walk everywhere,
Uh-huh.
Right.
And it was interesting, being here for the first time and adjusting to the culture.
What would you say was the biggest adjustment you had to make?
For me, it was because I couldn't talk to girls,
Most guys
I
can't.
I
So.
couldn't. I would see a pretty girl, and I wouldn't know what to tell her to get her to like me. That was the biggest thing for me. But 6 months later, things started to improve.
Yeah.
Especially after I got on the basketball team, in high school. That the popularity changed a little bit, and I started being more successful in my approach.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So who did you listen
That was
to growing up? What music were you, admiring?
Well, my dad, he listened to a lot of, he liked a lot of reggae music. So I listened to a lot of Bob Marley growing up. He also liked old school rock like Deep Purple, stuff like that.
Okay.
So I grew up with both of them in my house, and then when I started getting older, like 13, 14, I started listening to a lot of hip hop and R&B. I was a big fan of East Coast hip hop, like DMX and Busta Rhymes and Wu-Tang Clan, stuff like that. And then I was also a big fan of R&B. I listened to a lot of R&B, like R. Kelly before he got in trouble, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
So now that your album is going to be released, do you have any plans to tour to promote it?
I plan on doing that. But I don't want to get on the road until I know that it's gonna be a successful tour. So I'm gonna continue releasing music and promoting myself. And when the right time comes, I'm gonna get on the road. Maybe as a start opening up for like a bigger act.
Okay.
And but I think that would be probably in spring next year. And until then, I'm gonna keep releasing music and promoting and marketing myself.
Do you do shows in LA or in the area?
Yes, I do. I do probably like 1 to 2 shows every month. Perform maybe my latest single, or sometimes host. The venues in LA are not really performance friendly. They're mostly clubs.
Sure.
And in the clubs, they don't want you to perform for more than 5-10 minutes because they stop selling bottles if people perform too much.
Keep that music
and they
playing.
Want, and they want to make money. So like short performances, like 5 to 10 minutes, a couple of songs, stuff like that.
Okay. So we talked about it a little bit earlier and kind of asked you when you're on that Northwest tour if you had any experiences with your fans, but have you had any other sort of encounters that are memorable as far as people admiring your music or what you're doing? What fan encounters might stick out in your mind, just in general?
Well, we had a mansion party. We performed at, and that was a great experience because the the people at the party, they liked us so much they asked us to perform again and again, but we ran out of songs, so we started up the set from the beginning. We started performing the same songs again because we didn't know what else to perform. We're like, yo, and we told DJ, start it from the top.
There you go.
We went through the set again, like we went through the set like a couple of times, and then it was amazing. It was, everybody was dancing, and it was great.
Very
It was a great experience. It's nice being part of the group too because it's easier to, there's more energy on stage, and you don't have to do everything. When you're alone, it's much more harder to entertain the crowd as a one, as a solo act. But as a group, it's everybody has a favorite and they pay attention to that person.
Yeah. There is certainly a lot more pressure to be up there all by yourself.
Yes.
Yes, it is. You have to be more prepared, and you have to talk to the crowd all by yourself all the time and be able to read the crowd. It's definitely more advanced, than being part of the group. But I enjoyed both ways.
So is it safe to say that you're still playing basketball?
Off and on. I go once in a while to LA Fitness and show them my jump shot, and then I'll be like, okay, I still got it. I'll be back next month. But I don't play as much. It's I don't know. I'm just a fan now. I'm excited because we got LeBron James in LA, and hopefully Kobe Bryant comes back too for one more season. So I'm excited to be a fan and just watch the game.
So just getting your fans a chance to know a little bit more about you, when you're not doing music, what other things do you like to do in your free time?
I like working on my businesses. I'm getting started with a couple of real businesses. Like I want to get into real estate, and I want to get into building a business on Amazon, selling different products. So I'm a business person when I'm not doing music, basically, because I understand that to be able to be successful in business in music, you gotta be able to bring money from other things outside music and invest in yourself. So my real businesses and music going hand in hand.
It sure does. Being an entrepreneur of promoting your music and your other things, they're kind of the same thing.
Yes. I try to implement everything, and as I get further in my businesses and be able to have more money and more funds and more opportunities, then my music is gonna follow up.
Absolutely. Are you doing any TV watching? Do you have a favorite show that you can't miss?
I only watch like 3 shows every year. I watch Narcos, Ozark. I like Ozark. I haven't been able to watch the new season, and then I watched the TV show El Chapo, and I'm trying to catch up on the Game of Thrones, but I'm behind like 3 seasons, so I don't know when that's gonna when that's gonna happen. I enjoyed that one a lot, but it's so much going on in that TV show that I need like to watch that when I'm on vacation or something, because I haven't been able to catch on to what's going on.
Well, you're a busy guy. You've got a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Always be. Yes, I don't sleep much. I'm always doing something to. I'm all about progress. I always try to make moves and get further and further with everything that I'm doing.
Now, Drei, it sounds like you've got a lot of tenacity in this music business. Before we let you go, I'm kind of just wondering, speak to the up-and-coming artist who's in a little town, who's trying to make a name for himself just like you did. What advice would you tell them?
I tell them just don't give up and continue to do it no matter what. Even if you have 1 fan or 2 fans, or your mom liking your music, you know. Don't give up and continue to work on it, because nothing happens overnight, nothing happens fast, and if you really want it, you're really gonna get it, you know. And it might take 5 years until you get 1 year where you just make it big, you know. But just continue working and continue meeting people, continue showing your music, be able to accept criticism, be able to accept feedback from other people, and be open-minded, and just keep following your dream. And if you really want to do it, it's going to happen for you. If you give up on it, then that means you didn't want it enough to be successful.
Very good advice.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah, it's like everything else in life, you know. If you want to have the best podcast, you're gonna keep doing it until you get to have the best podcast, you know.
oh yeah, we did not start with all the listeners we have now. It has been a slow and steady growth. So,
That's right.
Yes,
and the best is yet to come, I think. So,
of course, for all of us, because we really know what we want to do, and we follow our intuition and our dreams, and it's gonna happen sooner or later. It's all about the long run. It's not over what's gonna happen tomorrow. It's like what's gonna happen in 2020.
right.
Yes.
So that's what it is. And everybody that made it big, you know, they made it big because they believed in themselves, and because they made other people believe in their vision. And once you get more people to believe in it, everything becomes easier.
I love that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Drei Ros's new
Yeah.
album is called "Excuse My Accent." Features the hit singles "Lit" and "On My Own," and it's going to be available any moment, right? This sometime in October it comes out.
Yeah. Sometimes in October, towards the end of October, maybe first week in November. You know, I'm still putting the final touches on it, and I can't wait to put it out so people can listen to it and tell me what they think about it.
Drei, where can we find you on social media? Where can we keep up with your upcoming
On
career?
social media, everywhere: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, even SoundCloud, Spotify. Is Drei Ros, DreiRos.
Awesome.
Just follow me, send me a message. If you're an upcoming artist, show me your music. I'll be more than happy to listen, give you my feedback, and we can become friends.
Nice. That's really nice.
Down to earth, Drei. I like that a lot. Really appreciate you joining
Thank
us
you.
here on Fancounters this week.
We hope that you have great success.
Thank you so much, guys, and I can't wait for the whole world to listen to our podcast so I can share it and show it to everybody, because I feel like we touched some very important subjects that I want other people to hear and know about what I'm doing and what we're doing.
Our thanks to Drei Ros for joining us on the program this week. It's always fascinating to me because we were on the one side of the music industry, on the radio side,
Yes.
seeing these artists in their early stages promoting their music. Some made it, some didn't. But to have a guy like Drei Ros with the down-to-earth, humble attitude that he has,
Yeah.
he's grateful. I think he's going to go far.
I think so too. We used to get sent, up-and-coming artists' albums to listen to and evaluate whether or not we thought there'd be a hit or what they'd be going on. And obviously, that was country music. I don't know what kind of outlet. Obviously, it would have to be like hip hop radio stations. But are there like hip hop?
Yeah, there's hip-hop R&B stations.
Yeah, but are there hip hop like festivals?
I think more or less concerts.
Okay.
I'm not in that scene so much, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, good luck to Drei as he promotes that music.
The album again is "Excuse My Accent," and it's going to be available everywhere you can buy music and stream music and all that. So look for Drei Ros. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's a good week. It's Halloween weekend. Are your
Yeah.
kids trick-or-treating?
We actually physically trick-or-treat on Halloween every
Same
year.
here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Oliver, the 12-year-old, is over it and is still going to go over to his friend's house because he goes with a group of guys that he has for probably the last 3 or 4 years. They go over, they eat chili. I think that the other two boys go out and bring candy back and then just share with Oliver. So he's got a pretty good gig going on where he doesn't actually have to leave the house. He just stays back, plays video games, and candy shows up.
That's nice.
But my kids are not like huge candy eaters. So even though they'll go through the act of trick-or-treating, I will ultimately end up throwing the candy away.
That's what we mostly do. They can eat it for a day and then somehow it disappeared.
Yeah.
It's weird. All right, you can find us on social media by searching at Fancounters Live on Twitter and Instagram. You can also go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Fancounters. And you can email us your comments, your thoughts, and your suggestions to
hello@fancounters.com.
That's all we've got for this Halloween weekend. We hope you have a good one. Stay safe, get lots of candy, and no cavities.
We'll see you later.
This was a podcast from the PodFix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.